Chronicles 35, starting at verse 20. So far, so good. I know I'm moved at a pace through that, but we have a place where you're used to reading a certain type of story, and what I'm illustrating is here's the story that doesn't seem to fit, and there's rhetorical energy in that too. It says something's wrong if God isn't giving a victory here. 2 Samuel 35, verse 20. After all this, when King Josiah, as soon as I read his name, do you think good or bad?
Good.
Yeah, good King Josiah. He's one of the reforming kings of Judah. After all this, when Josiah had set the temple in order, Necho, king of Egypt, went up to fight at Carchemish on the Euphrates. Now, as soon as I hear that geography, I am able to plug in some realities. Egypt is down this direction. They're marching to get to the north side of the Fertile Crescent at Carchemish. In order to get there, they are going to be advantaged by moving quickly through the mountain pass here. So I know the Egyptians are going to move up through the coastal plain, through the pass at Megiddo, come out into the plain here, and then continue on their way. That's what the king of Egypt is doing. Where was I? There. And Josiah marched out to meet him in battle. If you're Josiah, and you are a second-rate military power, you are going to look to have every advantage created by the space that you're fighting in. And you can already imagine then the advantage of fighting a more dominant, more numerous Egyptian army where they have to fight a handful of soldiers at a time coming through the pass here at Megiddo. But Necho sent messengers to him saying, "What quarrel is there, king of Judah, between you and me?" Rather than just run over the top of him, he says, "Look, my destination is not your country, but beyond. Just let me go. Don't harass me here. It's not you I'm attacking at this time, but the house with which I'm at war. God has told me to hurry, so stop opposing God who is with me, or he will destroy you." Now, as soon as I hear an Egyptian king talking about a deity telling him to go to war, I start thinking pagan deity. My translation capitalizes that. And I wouldn't capitalize it unless the next sentence followed. Josiah, however, would not turn away from him, but disguised himself to engage in battle. He would not listen to what Necho had said at God's command. So we actually have the narrator telling us that although Necho may have assumed he was hearing the voice of one of his deities, it was actually, this was from God. Josiah had said, "No, I'm going to get in front of this. I'm going to prevent this Egyptian advance against to Carchemish." And he had no love lost for Assyria. They had invaded this place multiple times. Rather than inquiring of the Lord and saying, "Is this a battle I should be in?" he didn't. He would not listen to what Necho had said at God's command, but went to fight him on the plain of Megiddo. Makes sense, right? That you would fight him here, both practically and theologically, because what does God do here? Gives unexpected victories. So if you know there's a theological backstory to this, then not only are you going to take advantage of the practical, but you're going to go, theologically speaking, this is a place where God gives unexpected victories, but not like putting a coin in a soda machine. He does it when you remain faithful to him. Archers shot King Josiah, and he told his soldiers, "Take me away, I'm badly wounded." So they took him out of his chariot and put him in his other chariot and brought him to Jerusalem, where he died. And he was buried in the tombs of his ancestors, and all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for him. Egypt just rolled over him. Was God capable of doing what he had done here so often? Absolutely. He was capable of doing it, but not like putting coins in a machine. It's about faithfulness and trust in the Lord. And although Josiah, through much of his life, was faithful to the Lord and honored him in every way, this was not automatic space where God just perfunctorily gave victories. This is a space where you ask the Lord, "What do you want me to do here?" Josiah didn't do that. And as a consequence, we have an acceptive story. Back out from that, and do you see how this also is important to observe when you're doing geography? If you find that a place tends to have a certain type of story in it, divine victories granted in unlikely circumstances. Then when you see a defeat initiated in this place, you've got to ask the theological question, what's going on here? Is God too weak to solve this problem? Well, that doesn't work theologically. But is it a failure somehow in Josiah's character at this point? I think that's where we land. He did not inquire of the Lord to make sure that he was going to get a victory, but simply presumed this place would be automatic in terms of victory. And there's a lesson there. And so the story is preserved in this place as the exception to the general rule to help us understand that God, one God, does not operate automatically in a space. You have to seek his will. And so geography can function in that way too. That's another step in the process, but it's our last day. So time to take that next step in the process. If you see a storyline that is defined in a space and then you see the exception, don't think, oh, my whole construct is broken. Rather think, what's different about this story than the others that I'm typically reading here.